Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'll be sharing my thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 Episode 3. As is the norm with all my videos, I won't be holding back on any spoilers, so please do keep that in mind. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. I'm glad to say that this week's installment of Fear the Walking Dead is another solid entry. However, I do feel it's the weakest episode of this season so far, and as such I have more issues with it than I did the previous two. However, the complaints that I do have with this episode pale in comparison to the complaints that I had with the episodes found in the 4th and 5th seasons of the show, so I don't think we need to sound the alarms just yet and start panicking that Fear the Walking Dead is getting bad again. Episode 3 begins with us catching up with Morgan, and it's revealed that Daniel is Morgan's inside man within Virginia's camp, and it's also revealed that Daniel was the one who got Morgan some baby supplies for baby Morgan. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of expected a bit more of these two meeting each other, especially as them meeting one another was the cliffhanger that episode 2 ended on. So for this week's episode to kind of just skip all over that and for it to just say, oh, Morgan met with Daniel to get some milk for the baby, was a bit anticlimactic in my opinion. I wanted to see the pair of them actually talk to one another. You know, maybe Daniel would have handed Morgan a map or some kind of intelligence about the camp, which would have helped him to plan how to attack it, or maybe they would have actually taken out a ranger or some of Virginia's guards together, or maybe they would have just talked about what they were going to do going forward. But yeah, I wanted to actually see that happen, but instead it happens off screen, and you know, it's still a possibility that this might have happened, but yeah, I wanted to see more of these two coming together, but then again, maybe Fear the Walking Dead has something planned going forward and it doesn't want to spoil what these two were talking about. So who knows, we'll just have to wait and see. Quick note on Morgan's appearance, he's got rid of his beard and his long hair that he had in the first two episodes, and I kind of wish he didn't because I think it made him look more menacing and scary, and I think it kind of fit in thematically with him now going down this path of revenge and trying to kill people. And yeah, I kind of wish he kept this more scary look for a bit longer, because it kind of reminded me of Rick in season 5 of the main show when he has that really long beard when he's on the road, and at that point in time Rick is of the opinion that people can't be trusted and he kind of will kill anyone if he thinks they're a threat, and him looking like that fitted in with, you know, the way he was. So yeah, kind of annoying that he's got rid of his beard and hair. But I mean, I know it doesn't make a real difference going forward in the show, but I just wish he kept it a bit longer. And I'm a bit jealous because he grew a pretty good beard and I can't grow a beard despite being nearly 20. 20? I wish I was 20. I'm nearly 30 is what I meant. Anyway, my heart did sink a bit when we got a scene of Morgan making what appeared to be another Aikido stick, because at this point I was thinking, oh god, he's gone back to looking the same way he did before the start of this season. Now he's making another stick, so is he just going to go back to being all life is precious Morgan? Thankfully though, the reason he's making the stick is so he can attach it to his axe, and now he's got this pretty epic long range weapon which I can't wait to see him use. After the title sequence plays, the episode switches its attentions to Al and Dwight. Now, I like Dwight. I thought he was one of the highlights during seasons 7 and 8 of The Walking Dead, which were two very below average seasons of the show. But as for Al, I don't really care about her. I haven't taken to her since she's appeared on Fear the Walking Dead, and her camera gimmick is very irritating to me. However, I actually found her to be tolerable this episode, and I found her friendship with Dwight to be rather sweet. I don't remember how much time these two spent together in season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead because I've tried to erase as much of that season as I can from my memory. However, their friendship this episode still managed to feel realistic. So much so that I actually understood Al's decision to turn away the helicopter and not pursue the Civic Republic at the end of the episode, instead staying with Dwight, and I understood that she considered him to be like a brother to her. The reason Al and Dwight are out together in the first place is because Virginia has tasked them with searching houses and camps and trying to find survivors, and if they don't find survivors, and if instead they find the undead or they find people who've been killed, then they have to find out why that happened, basically. Now, this does make Virginia seem a tad bit paranoid in my opinion, because you could make the argument that why does a random family or a group dying in a house miles away, why does that have any effect on her group? And you know, you could make the argument that this is a bit silly. However, on the other hand, I suppose there are a lot of bad people in the world of The Walking Dead, so it does make sense to be prepared for what's to come on the horizon if there is a, murderous gang going around killing everyone. After searching a house and just finding corpses, Al and Dwight decide to head to a tower block, and they head there because Al has been listening to Isabelle, the lady who she encountered last season, who was from the Civic Republic and who she had a romantic thing with. She's been listening to her over the radio, and she finds out that they are going to land a helicopter on top of this building, so they go towards it. And Dwight is accepting of this. He wants to help her because, of course, he's searching for his wife as well, so he understands what she's going through in trying to find someone who she loves. Once they enter the building, they come across the phrase, "The end is the beginning," spray painted on the wall, which must have been done by someone who is a fan of the Netflix series Dark. And then it's at this point that Al makes a comment along the lines of, "Once the world goes to shit, everyone thinks they're a philosopher." Now that actually made me laugh out loud because everyone in season 4 and 5 of Fear the Walking Dead thought they were philosophers. They were all talking in riddles and talking nonsense. So I don't know if Fear the Walking Dead is that self-aware to make a joke about itself like that. I don't know whether it was poking fun at itself or if it was just a line they wrote and they didn't mean it that way. But I mean, if it is self-awareness, then well done for poking fun at the awful dialogue in the last 2 seasons. But even if it wasn't, I still find it funny just because of the irony of it. Whilst in the building, Al and Dwight come into a floor of survivors who are all sick. Al says that they've been infected with the plague, which is being spread by rats because she's seen that before. And she basically says that they're going to die soon, there's nothing they can do for them, so her and Dwight decide to leave. Now, I'm sure some people might have seen this as a bit cold for Al to just say, "Nope, you're going to die, we're not helping you, bye," and then walk out the door. But I loved it, simply because it was such a stark contrast to what we saw last season, in which the group would go out of their way to help everyone. So I liked that for once Al was being a realist instead of an optimist and just said, "You know what, nope, screw it, these people are going to die. If we stay near them, we're going to get it, so we have to go." I like that, because last season they would have just got their camera out and started filming them and then gone and interviewed them and said, "Yeah, this is how we're going to help you guys," and done some weird documentary shit, and I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? They would have just made it really cringeworthy, and they would have made it all about helping them rather than trying to survive themselves. So I'm glad that they were actually intelligent enough to just say, yeah, they're going to die, let's move on. As Al and Dwight head further upstairs, Al notices a rash on Dwight's neck, which she says is a sign of the plague, and she decides that they need to get antibiotics for Dwight, or Dwight does rather, and instead he tells Al to continue on upstairs and he'll go and get some antibiotics. However, the issue is that when they notice this rash, the two of them are in a bathroom and there are walkers crowding the door outside. However, they are saved by a lady who is part of the group of sick people. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because if I was the lady who saved them and if I'd just seen them walk away from everyone who was sick and just say, "Sorry, we can't help you," I wouldn't be going out of my way to help them. So I thought that was a bit strange, but then again, maybe she thought if she could save them, she could convince them to help them and get the medicines they needed. And maybe she overheard them in the bathroom talking about getting antibiotics and saying that Dwight was infected, so maybe she knew their interests were aligned. Al does make it to the roof, but as I said earlier, she decides to turn away the Civic Republic. She radios them and says to them, "Don't land here, this area's been compromised, there's rats with plague, go away," kind of thing. And they thank her by saying that there is a box or some kind of storage on the roof which has beer in it. Now Al goes over to this box, and as well as being beer in it, there are antibiotics, the same antibiotics that they need to cure the plague. Now, I really didn't like this. I just thought that this was such an easy answer. Oh, everyone's infected. Oh, on this roof in a box just so happens to be the drugs they need. It was such a cheap way of them getting out of it. I don't know, I didn't like this. I just thought it was really lazy, and I think I would have actually preferred a much darker ending where Al went downstairs after rejecting what could have been, a happy reuniting, is that the right word? Reunion, that's the word I'm looking for. What could have been a happy reunion with Isabelle, and instead she went downstairs and found everyone dead. I would have preferred that ending to, "Oh, the drugs we needed were in a box all along, we're all saved, yay!" The episode ends with Dwight hearing Sherry's voice on the radio, and he goes outside and finds Sherry in the street, and the two hug and kiss, and it's all rather lovely, really. And I'm glad that he's found Sherry, because he's been through a lot, and I'm glad that it's happening now, 3 episodes in, because I don't want to see this dragged out any longer, to be honest. I mean, I think, wasn't Dwight looking for Sherry for, what, the best part of 2-3 seasons in The Walking Dead, and he's been on Fear the Walking Dead for a season as well, still trying to look for her, so I'm glad that he's finally met up with her, because I don't want to see this storyline being dragged out any further, and it'll be nice to see what Sherry's been up to as well, and see, you know, where they go from here. So in conclusion, despite this being the weakest episode to come from season 6, I actually liked it. I mean, it has its issues, which I've mentioned throughout. I just bit my tongue then. Had issues. It has its issues. I really am struggling to film today. I don't know why. I just can't get my words out. But anyway, it has its issues, which I have mentioned in this video. But there wasn't a point watching it where I just thought, oh, I can't get through this, which is what I did during season 4 and 5. You know, those I struggled to complete. Even when I did think some of the things were a bit silly, I never thought, oh, I'm done, I'm going to turn this off. It was still fun to watch. I still enjoyed it. So I can't believe it. That's 3 out of 3 so far for Fear the Walking Dead. So yeah, pretty shocking. I didn't expect there to be 3 good episodes in a row. I didn't expect the season to be any good from the start. So there we go. I have been proven wrong. So far, so good, and let's hope that they keep this up next week. So let me know your thoughts below. Did you enjoy this video? Did you enjoy Fear the Walking Dead episode 3? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Where am I going? I don't know. I need to go to sleep. I'm too tired and I can't talk properly today. So anyway, thank you. Goodbye.